Welcome back to Furuno Connections. I'm Eric Kuhn, Senior Product Manager.
And I'm Clayton Pattison with Technical Support.
And in this episode, we're going to focus on the heart of this SeaVee's new navigation system, the two TZtouch2 15.6-inch MFDs. In fact, before we start, let's have a history lesson on MFDs.
Actually, I'll do you one better. Let's ask a trivia question.
Trivia question.
Yeah. Now, the first two viewers to get this correct in the comments below will get a free Furuno hat and t-shirt. Now, the question is this. What year was the industry's first multifunction navigation system introduced? And we'll give you the answer in the next episode. Anyway, let's move on.
All right. There were various combination units available from Furuno and other manufacturers.
But they weren't fully realized
That's
yet,
right.
Really.
It wasn't until the FRS 1000 from Furuno that the industry's first true multifunction display system was introduced. It had a full-blown radar, chart plotter, GPS, and echo sounder all in one system that you could put at various stations around the boat.
Yeah.
Made it really convenient. You could have full control from any station without having to have separate systems.
Yeah, it was.
In fact, in 2001, we took that idea from the FRS 1000 and we added Ethernet networking to it. And that changed the game. That started a revolution in the industry.
That was a huge game changer.
It was huge.
It really was.
NavNet 1 could be easily installed with up to 4 or 6 displays around the boat, and you just connected them with simple Ethernet network cabling. Really simple, super reliable.
And it was a very successful product for Furuno, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It was very successful, and it was the world's first Ethernet marine networking system.
As a matter of fact, it was so successful that we followed that up in 2005 with NavNet VX2. It was essentially the same system, but it featured faster processing, considerably better charting, but it used the same sensors and antennas and so forth that NavNet 1 did. It was an analog system to kind of help make upgrades easy.
That's right. But the key was when we introduced NavNet 3D.
Now that was a game changer.
That changed our chart configurations to a 3D rendering capability, as well as added digital network sensors like our DRS sensors, and also our DFF1 and BBFF1 digital network sounder sensors as well. From there,
we introduced the industry's first multi-touch MFD system in 2012, NavNet TZtouch2. Now, TZtouch2 used the same 3D charting as NavNet 3D did, and also shared a lot of the same sensors, and introduced quite a few innovative ones since then. What it also introduced was the Wi-Fi connectability for connecting to an iPad, tablet, or phone. And some of the innovative touchscreen functions, like from your cell phone, like the pinch to zoom and two-finger swipe.
Multi-touch. That's right.
Yeah.
And the great thing is, with TZtouch2, which we just installed on this 39 SeaVee, it's that TZtouch2 is a refinement of TZtouch1. Not only do we still have the multi-touch capability, but we've got an all-glass screen. And now, instead of a knob, you can actually get hybrid remote control keypads that can allow you to control the system with either a touch screen or the traditional knobs and buttons.
It kind of almost makes it a hybrid touch, doesn't it?
Exactly. It's like a hybrid touch interface that you can add to any TZtouch2 MFD. From there, TZtouch2 also has the ability to bring in sensors that weren't available with TZtouch1. For example, we can also control the entire boat through C-zone digital switching, or we can control the Sirius radio from directly from the MFDs, or a lot of other things with TZtouch2 that just wasn't possible.
You can even control the fusion from
That's right. We can control the fusion radio, the Sirius satellite radio. We can also have control over AIS and the autopilot with TZtouch2 as well. So there's a lot of things that TZtouch2 does.
It just takes it to the next dimension.
Absolutely.
Over the last 18 years that we've produced the NavNet product line, in its various different forms, the one core principle that we haven't abandoned and walked away from is the network-based, building block type system. For example, the TZtouch2 displays have a built-in GPS antenna and a built-in 1 kilowatt Rose Boost fish finder. So all you really need is power, the display, and a transducer, and you've got a functioning system.
The full system.
Yeah.
And the chart plotter itself, it's important to understand that every single NOAA raster and vector chart is included with the system. And some of the key differences now with this all-glass display design allows us to put them at various stations around the boat. In fact, we have different sizes available in case you did want to put a display, for example, in the galley. You say, why would I ever want to put a NavNet,
Exactly.
a TZtouch2 display in the galley? Well, the reason is now that you can literally control the whole boat from your TZtouch2 MFD.
From any station, really.
Exactly, from any station. And the way you do that is things like C-zone digital switching. That's right, the entire switching network for the boat can be controlled right from within the MFD right now. Additionally, you can add a host of NMEA 2000 and Ethernet sensors to allow other kinds of control. For example, download apps for your phone and control the system from that way as well.
Okay.
So there's just so much different functionality and different capabilities built into the system now, and yet it's still easy to use. And that's a key feature of TZtouch2. In fact, let's show how easy it is to use by switching over to both Captain Mike and Tim in the Florida Keys, and they'll show us how easy it is to use.
I'm out here on the water today with Captain Mike Macco from Two Conch Sport Fishing. And Mike's invited us to his boat today because he recently upgraded from another manufacturer to the NavNet TZtouch2 system. And what Mike's going to do is show us how he's using the TZtouch2 system to get himself on the fish. So Mike, I appreciate you having us on board today.
Definitely.
And since you told me you did just recently upgrade to the TZtouch2 system, one of the questions I wanted to ask you is, has there been a really steep learning curve, or have you found the TZtouch easy to use?
Well, I got to tell you what, the learning curve for this unit was the simplest I've ever used. I've used a lot of units on a lot of different boats, and I noticed one of the biggest things on getting on different units is some of them are very hard to figure out and to use. The great thing about the Furuno TZtouch2s is if you know how to work a cell phone, you can work this machine. It takes a lot of the guesswork out of things. They got it set up so easy for you that it makes getting on fish a breeze. We're going to be doing some edge swiping to get to our different screens, just to kind of show you guys how easy it is to navigate through this very simply. So pretty much what I'm going to do here is there's a few ways you can do this. You can go to your home screen and that'll pop up all your interfaces that you want to work with. And then what you can also do is, if you want to get back out of that, so let's go ahead and go to an interface. Let's go to our plotter and our bottom machine. That pops up very simply. But if I want to do that much quicker, edge swipe down, and now all my presets are right there while I can still see the screen that I'm currently on. So if I want to go and switch right over to radar, scroll down, plotter, radar, there's my radar. I'm still on my plotter so I can see where I'm going. Do another edge swipe down if I want to go just to my plotter. Simple as that. Zoom in, zoom out with your fingertips, and it's just like working your cell phone, guys. It's really no different. Just think of these squares as an app on your phone.
So in looking at your screen, Mike, one of the things I'm seeing is you already have a lot of points on the screen, and I assume that's from the way you've gotten good catch of fish.
Correct.
And you might want to go back to. Yep. So say for instance right now, as far as ease of use goes, if you saw a fish right now where we're currently sitting, how would you drop a point there?
Alright, so how I will drop a point if I come up on something on my bottom machine here. So if you see right now, I'm actually marking fish. I'm marking some bait, and I'm actually marking some fish on the bottom here. So as I drift, I'm slowly going to get away from these fish. So what I want to do is I want to mark this spot so I can get back to these fish and try to get on that bite. So very simple. I find where these fish are. So I have a nice blip right here. It could be a nice grouper. I touch that spot. It stops right where I touched. I put new point. And then if I want to symbol it, so I know to come back to that, I remember, so I got a crab. I'll go ahead and put a crab. Now that pin just dropped right there. And so now I want to go back to this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm simply going to touch it, go to, and it's just that easy. And now my arrow comes up for my compass, and that lets me know the direction that I need to go to in order to get my boat back over that spot and redo another drift over it.
So to take it a step further, Mike, one of the things we have to do, I think I told you when we first met earlier, is that I'm from Maryland, and a lot of times if we want to go offshore fishing, we literally have to go 50, 60 miles off the coast. So what we'll do is we'll use points the same way that you do once we find the fish, but what we'll do is we'll build a route to get to there. And I want to show you how to do that and show you how simple it really is. Okay, so let's say I'll click on this crab here. I can say new route. So that's going to be our starting point. You see we dropped the flag on there. Now what we can do, we can either bounce between your existing points or we can add new points as we go. And as you see, we have a teardrop with an arrow key. If we get outside the channel or just want to move it to a different area, we simply move our finger and the point follows it. Once we're done, we simply click En route. It allows us to name that route. Click the green check mark, and we now have a route. It's that simple.
Very simple. So Tim, I got a question for you. Being that this doesn't have a routing option on it, what is the reason we would do that for?
Well, that's a good question, Mike. I'm glad you asked because I do get that question all the time. So essentially what a route is just a multi-leg waypoint. Okay, so it's just connecting the dots for you. You can use it for avoiding obstacles, or say for instance you're going from point A to point B and you want to stay within the channel. Well, most channels have turns in them, so what you would use is a route. But it becomes especially prevalent if you have an autopilot, because autopilots have two modes. They have both the nav mode and the auto mode. So in auto mode, you're just following a heading. You just pick the heading you want to go to, and that's where it's gone. But when you choose nav mode, it's looking for a route, and it's going to take your boat and drive it along that route for you, so you don't have to interface with the wheel. And what types of species are you normally targeting when you're out here fishing?
Usually when I'm using my bottom machine, I'm targeting anything from mutton snapper, grouper. We're out here today, we're trying to get on some permits, so this does great with marking fish all the way on the bottom to the water column, and even on the surface I can mark fish with these machines.
That's awesome, and if I understand it correctly, you installed a TZtouch2 down here at the lower helm and also a TZtouch2 in the tower?
Correct, I have one upstairs as well, and everything is linked together, so when I get offshore, I'm able to take this control down here and bump it to upstairs, and now I'm in my second station with what I have downstairs running as well.
So you're pretty much finding it's making your life easier.
Much easier.
Exactly what we wanted to hear. Now let's go find some fish.
Let's do it.
Thanks, Tim and Captain Mike, for showing us what we're missing down there in the Florida Keys. And thanks for exporting some beautiful weather up here to the Pacific Northwest. It's really nice to have some sunlight in the spring.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's also really awesome to see just how easy it is to use the TZtouch2 system. I mean, it's really not much harder than a smartphone.
Absolutely. In fact, if you look at the gestures or the swiping or just touching the screen, it's all right there at your fingertips.
If you can run an iPhone or an Android, you've really got it in the bag. I mean, it's not really complicated.
And even if we add more components or add features to the system, it doesn't change. The user interface is consistent, so you don't have to relearn anything.
It's brilliant. So join us next time for the next episode of Furuno Connections, where we talk about the accessories that we're going to add to the system and install them on the boat. So thanks for watching, and if you like the exciting content that you've seen, click the link below to like the video and subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you'll be the first one to know when we have new content available with new product information and new exciting stuff from Furuno.